Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today I'm going to show you how I designed my stickers to give to my students during the Watercolor Wonders retreat in Italy I just hosted. I started off thinking I want to make a circle sticker because that will be easy to cut out either by hand or with my die cutting machine. So I do have a fancy die cutter that can cut around any shapes that I want, but I'm like, I just want to keep this easy. It was a week before I left for the retreat, and it was kind of an idea I had at the last minute. So what I'm doing here is drawing a double circle because I wanted to have kind of like a frame around it. And I've got a piece of deli paper there just to keep my hand from smudging the other page of my sketchbook. And this was my kind of practice sketchbook. I always make a practice one before I go and teach a class because I just want to make sure that I got the vibe up to snuff and I don't have to think about it when I'm doing it. And since it takes a while to fill a sketchbook, I really don't need to be making them all that often. I don't sell them. I just, teach them once in a while. And I thought it'd be fun to do some kind of iconic Florence landmarks in this sticker. And I decided to just sketch the Duomo since that was a really popular kind of sight to see in Tuscany in Florence. So I thought I would start with that. And I'm using my little circle template to get the dome fairly accurate. And I'm just kind of drawing the little like arches, the little, I don't know what you call them, supports, I guess, the arch supports. And this is going to be a really almost cartoony version of it because it's going to be shrunk down into a sticker. So I'm sketching this at about 4.5 by 4.5 circle or 4.5 inch circle, but I'm going to be scanning it on my computer and then printing it out on waterproof sticker paper. That way people can stick them to their sketchbooks or their water bottles or whatever, and they should stay pretty good. And that waterproof sticker paper is wonderful. I've used it to make stickers in the past, and I've actually painted water over them, and I don't know how, but it keeps it waterproof. Whatever there is in the coating on that paper is just remarkable. So I'll link it up down below in case you are interested. And I have a whole video on how to make stickers, waterproof stickers, using an electronic die cutter. But for this one, I'm just going to use my regular circle dies. So if you are, if you're a crafter and you have a die cut machine, a manual one, and you've got some basic shapes, just design your dies to fit one of those basic shapes rather than doing anything too complicated. Circles are great because you can find those sets of circle dies that come in a bunch of different sizes pretty affordably because they're kind of a staple project. I thought it'd be cool to put some like art supplies in the foreground, kind of like you're sitting and sketching it in real life. And because I didn't want to put a bunch of buildings around, I just kind of filled in with some this random like roofs. And because you kind of, if you're looking over at the Duomo I was looking at reference photos because obviously I hadn't been there yet. Because I was making this before I left, and I just kind of put some foliage in to fill it in and give a little backdrop for the art supplies. And I saw lots of photos on Unsplash of the Duomo, and I just kind of looked around for ones that looked interesting. And there's like so many beautiful hills and mountains in the Tuscany region, and I wanted to get those in the background too, so it was just kind of fun. And I'm using the brown or sepia fine liners from Bienio. I highly recommend these pens. They are very affordable. I think you get 12 for about $15, but with Black Friday and holiday sales coming up, you'll probably find them for less than that. I know on Prime Day, they're usually around $11 or $12 for the set, and they are just a wonderful product. I use them in my line and wash fall favorites class, and I've used them for a lot of different projects because they're very reliable, and I'm surprised at how long I've been using this set and nothing has gone dry yet. Probably the first one to go dry will be like my number 3, but I also find that like the size, the 0.5 and 1 are very similar in size, and the 2, 3, and 4 are pretty close in size, so if you run out of one, you can go up or down a size and it's pretty close. So I haven't run into any problems there. I'm not sure what size I'm using here because it's been a while. I think it is probably a 3 or maybe a 4. I know I want to go a little bit thicker because I was going to shrink this down, and I wanted to make sure that it would still, the line work would show even on a smaller sticker size, since I plan on making this probably about half the size than it is right now. And yeah, I just want to get some good crisp lines. I want it to be pretty bold because it is going to be shrunk down to a sticker, and I just wanted to get the basic layout, the basic shapes and whatnot. And in the frame, I figured I would write Watercolor Wonders Art Retreat and, kind of get that Italy 2025, just so, if we do a bunch of these, I'll make a sticker for each one. I wish I thought of this before the France retreat last year, because that would have been so cool. Maybe I will eventually make a France one and then put the 2024 on it and send it off to participants in that. But definitely going forward, this is something that I want to do because I just think it's kind of fun. It's fun to have a souvenir like that, and it's something that's not going to be clutter because you just put it on your sketchbook or on your water bottle or whatever. And I like to decorate my sketchbook with stickers. I think it's kind of fun, but also because I make a lot of the same sketchbooks, it helps me figure out what's in each one and pull it off the pile pretty easily, because I won't say pull it off the shelf, but I only put a sketchbook on a shelf once it's used. Other than that, once it's used up, I have sketchbooks in bags and piles stacked everywhere because I have so many going at once. I remember I did a video probably 2 years ago where I pulled out all of my sketchbooks that I had in progress, and I had something like, I think I had like 50 something sketchbooks and 30 of them were in progress, maybe. I don't know, it was a lot. And yeah, I finished them up, but my starting sketchbooks outpaces my finishing of sketchbooks because I like to have different options. I like to have some with mixed media paper. I like to have some with toned paper. I like to have some with hot press paper, some with cold press paper, some with, watercolor paper, some with mixed media paper. It's really hard to, to confine myself to one type of sketchbook. You get in a different mood, or you're traveling, you just want a tiny little one you can fit in your pocket. I've got tiny little pocket sketchbooks. I have ones to fit in certain kits that I have. I've got, it's just kind of fun it's kind of like coordinating an outfit. Coordinate your sketchbook with your outfit. Coordinate your sketchbook with the bag of supplies you want to take. Coordinate your sketchbook with the watercolors or the media that you want to bring. It's a bit of a sickness, but hey, it's less destructive than drinking, gambling, or smoking. So, I guess if you got to pick your vices, I don't think it's a bad one. I really don't. I constantly think about whether I will outlive my supplies or my supplies will outlive me. So yeah, definitely I feel like that I should cut down the pace, but also I do this for a living and I have the opportunity to try these different products, these different sketchbooks, and review them and, kind of pass a little bit of a verdict on them, so people will know whether it's worth your money or not. Sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't. Sometimes they don't last. Like I've got some Arteza watercolor sketchbooks I've been using for years, and I found that at about the 2-year mark, they start to fall apart. Not literally, but the sizing breaks down, and then, so if you're not going to use them up quickly, they're kind of a waste of money, or you have to use them with other media. So knowing that, I think, is really important. So the fact that I have had sketchbooks in progress for years is actually helpful, because then if I get halfway through a book and I realize, oh, the sizing is completely shot on this book because I haven't used it for a while, I can report on that. And I live in an area that's temperate. I want to say temperamental. Yes, Maine is temperamental, but it's temperate as well. So we get like hot, humid summers. We get dry winters. We get vast temperature fluctuations. So if a sketchbook gets thrown in a bag in the trunk of my car, it's going to be going through these different climate changes, these different temperature changes, and that will affect your sizing. So if you got sketchbooks that are lasting and working well through over a couple of years in those conditions, they're pretty good. My studio's in the basement, so a lot of times my sketchbooks are stored in the basement, and then sometimes they get brought out into the regular living space for a while. Stuff gets shuffled around and not in consistent humidity environments, and that is really hard on paper. And if a sketchbook can hold up to that, that's really good. That's a really good thing. So this sketchbook has a variety of different papers in it because I made it myself, but this paper I'm working on right now is Arches Cold Press. And obviously that's a pretty robust paper. I have noticed though, because I have such a vast experience with paper over the decades, that Arches paper is not as robust as it used to be. And I think there's 2 reasons for that. I think one reason is that people don't stretch their watercolor paper as frequently anymore. Because back in the day, you'd stretch your paper, you'd soak it, and you'd tape it down to a heavy board and you let it dry, so you'd have this drum type paper to work on. That was common. That was commonplace. Everybody did that. Well, maybe not everybody, but most people did that. But then they started coming up with thicker watercolor papers that didn't need to be stretched. And then I think just stretching in general fell out of fashion. People just tape down the paper and call it a day. And I think that's why companies stopped stretching, because there would be so much sizing in the paper that some people didn't like it. But I think honestly, the big reason for that is that you save some money. You save some money. You don't have to put as much sizing in it. You can skimp on the sizing you're doing internally in the paper pulp. You can skimp on the amount you're adding externally to the surface of the paper. I mean, why not, right? Why not? So I think that that's kind of the twofold reason for that. Because I have older Arches paper. Now, granted, my large sheets of Arches paper I store in my bedroom, so it is a consistent 70 degrees year round for the most part. It might be a little bit warmer in the summer, but generally it's not lower than that. The humidity's not too bad. We have radiant heating, so it's a pretty consistent heating and dryness. And I can grab any of those older papers by Fabriano, by Arches, by Strathmore that I've stored up there, and they're all fine, but they're all older stock for the most part, unless it's something I've recently purchased. Because I do keep all my full sheet papers up there, so I don't, I don't want to risk any of the larger papers. But the pads, my paper pads, I tend to go through a lot quicker, so they can stay downstairs in my storage in the basement, which does get a lot of use, and there's always coming and going, so things aren't just let to sit and molder or anything. I do have desiccants and a dehumidifier and stuff to prevent that from happening, so it's not just left in an unused basement. But still, it's not ideal situations. But because blocks and pads get used a lot more frequently by me, they're more convenient. I can just grab them off the shelf and go. And I keep them wrapped in plastic until I'm ready to use them. I keep them factory sealed, and that does help too. So there's a tip. It's probably not the best idea if you are not using sketchbooks super frequently to open them up. But because I agree to review different ones from different brands and they send them to me on occasion, then I got to open them up and use them. I can't just keep them until I'm ready for them. Otherwise, by the time I get around to using them, they won't be sold anymore. But one thing I have noticed with a lot of the cotton sketchbooks that are coming out of China, they're manufactured by the Potentate company, and that paper is really nice. I've been finding those a lot more often with different manufacturers, even companies. I'm pretty sure New York Central from Jerry's Autorama and Alta newspaper is made by Potentate as well. And it's just a really nice cotton paper. It's got a beautiful finish to it. It takes paint really well. It's pretty robust. And those little sketchbooks I've tried that are made by them are just fantastic. Now, I don't know if they have different grades of paper out there, but their 100% cotton paper that I've tried that they've manufactured have been just wonderful. So what I'm doing here is just adding some details with just a little watercolor brush here. These ones with the blue-gray handles are by Jerry's Autorama. They're the Mimic squirrel brushes, which are a fantastic faux squirrel brush. If you're looking for a nice absorbent brush, they do a really good job. I have found a little bit of quality control sometimes with some of their brushes, but for the most part, I find they're a pretty good brush. I have seen, it seems like over the past couple years, I've noticed on the house brands of Jerry's kind of getting overpriced though. So that's a little discouraging. I was really impressed though, going into their store in Delaware. It's the only physical location I've been into. I was really impressed with their prices and selection there. And they had if you signed up for their free discount card, you got 10% off everything. So I thought their prices in store were really good. That's the only one I've been to, and that's the only time I've been there. Was just last summer. But online, it seems like the prices of their house brands have kind of gone a little crazy. They've been a little high for what they are, in my opinion. I know they run sales and stuff, but the sales have not been that awesome lately. And some of the paints in that palette are actually the Turner watercolors. I really like they have what do they call it? It's like the Lunar Black. It's Mars Black, and they've got a Mineral Violet and a bunch of beautiful granulating pigments that you don't see in the sets, so you kind of buy them open stock. And I picked those up for about $4 or $5 a 15 ml tube, and I have not seen those prices since, and that was just a few years ago. So I don't know if the price increases have been because they've gotten more popular or they're trying to get more wiggle room for sales, but it does seem like they've gone up a lot more rapidly than a lot of the brand name prices. So it's kind of made me feel a little distrustful of their marketing recently. So I don't know if their house brands are the value they used to be. They used to be a really wonderful value, and I was always recommending them. But lately, I just feel like they're marking it up to mark it down. And that's just kind of a bummer because and I haven't ordered from them in quite a while because of that. But I guess it just always pays to keep an eye out on prices, kind of take note of what you've paid for things in the past and see how much they've changed, because, my opinion will change if a price is jacked up. If I say something's a really great paint and it's $4 a tube, all of a sudden they're charging $8 a tube, then my opinion is going to be altered as well, because, you've got to factor in what you're paying for the product to the quality of it. I'm going to be much more critical of a paint that's going for $20 for a 15 ml tube than one that's going for $5 for a 15 ml tube. So, just something to keep in mind. Just always keep in mind that's why I say what I paid for things in my reviews, because I want people to know what I'm basing that review on. I'm basing this on a certain price. I can't separate the price from the quality if I know what the price is. You know what I mean? I'm using a thick 1mm nib for writing the words on the perimeter there, because I wanted to make sure it was going to show up when I shrunk it down, and I wanted to make sure it was nice and clear. And here I'm going in with some gel pens to add some details. My favorite gel pens at the moment, there is actually a few sellers that are selling these, but these are the Boo Tiger on Amazon, and they come in a set of 9, and you get 3.6, 3.8, and 3 1mm white gel pens. And I don't know if they're an acrylic paint. I don't think they're acrylic paint, because if you go over them with water, they will lift if you scrub them at all. So you have to be careful. If you use these for highlights on acrylic and you go to varnish on them, be extremely delicate with your brush strokes. Don't keep going back and forth over them, at least not for one coat. Do a coat, let it dry, then of your varnish, then do another coat and you'll be fine. But if you scrub at that, you can lift it and blend it out. So just be careful with that. But they provide such a nice, solid white line. I'm so impressed. And I bought them from 2 different brands. The first brand I bought it from was just an Alphabet Soup brand, because I had like a couple bucks left on a gift card to use. I just think they look so great. And so then I was hunting because they sold out. I told people about them, they sold out. I'm like, I got to find these again. And I found them from another brand that had 3 sizes. So I was so psyched. Hopefully they don't discontinue them. So because this is bigger than my die cutter, I got to cut the stickers apart. What I did was I just opened these up in my audio, what do you call it? My photo software. I use Paint Shop Pro, and I scanned it on my computer, opened it up, and then I just laid it out so I would have I would fit 12 on a sheet. I think 12 on a sheet. Was it 12 or 9? I think it's 12 on a sheet. So I would have minimal waste. And then I just found a die that was just slightly bigger than that, so I'd have a little bit of a white border, and I cut them out. And of course, you could measure your dies that you have and make it so it cuts right on the line. But I like to have a little bit of a border. I think that looks nice, and it gives you a little bit of wiggle room too. So you can do it however you want. If you want to have a full bleed, when you design your sticker, just paint over the edge. Just paint off like a 1/4 inch around, larger, and just like the teal color if you want to have a full bleed image. But I like having the little bit of a border there. And now let's try it out and stick it. I tried doing an envelope on the outside of my sketchbook, and I didn't like that. I definitely got too much wear and tear in my bag, but I wanted to try it just to see how it was going to work. So I made a bunch of envelopes for people to stick in their bags, in their sketchbooks as well. But I thought that turned out really cute, and it's waterproof. So if I wouldn't go soaking it, but you wouldn't be soaking your sketchbook anyway. But if it got splashed, not a big deal. It should be fine. So there you can see the original. That's a book I made with a variety of mixed media papers in it. And yeah, so those are the envelopes right there that I made for my students. I had a paper, had just the right amount of pages. And so I just made a bunch of envelopes that would fit in the back of sketchbooks for holding trinkets and receipts and stuff while people picked up on their retreat. And that's how I made my stickers. I hope it inspires you to do something similar. You could always sell those at craft fairs too if you like to do that sort of thing. Thank you so much for watching. Please give me a thumbs up before you go. Until next time, happy crafting. Bye.